chase Leak with the blue futon, and in the theaters, we saw nobody. Should you know this nobody, or should you leave this nobody alone? Let's find out if this nobody is worth your time. So nobody, what's it about? We have Bob Odenkirk, who is a nobody, aka an auditor for those three-letter agencies like the FBI, CIA, DIA maybe, and ATF. Who knows how many? There's so many three-letter agencies. We don't know how many there are because there might be some secret underground ones. But he is the last person you ever want to see, because if you see him at your door, there's a good chance you're not seeing you or your family or maybe your body ever again. People are not going to know where you are. But he wants the good life, a family, a wife. Unfortunately, someone tries to rob his family and he wants that kitty cat bracelet back. Then he touches the wrong person and insanity ensues of who is going to survive and die in this action-packed romp. Did I like this movie? Absolutely, it is a fun movie, but of course there are flaws. So we'll go through the fun time of this movie. It's directed extremely well. If you watch Hardcore Henry, you're going to know what the director is going to do with a lot of action, and that is great. With the writing and producing, you know it's going to be done by the people that done John Wick, because it is people that done John Wick, and you're like, there's too many similarities. But if you watch any of my channels before, if I say if a movie is similar but is done correctly, there should be nothing wrong with that movie, and I will say that with this movie. You've seen it 100 times before, but it is done so well that you don't care because you were watching a good time on the screen. You have good actors in this. You have, like I said, Colin Nielsen. You have Christopher Lloyd. You have Riza also in this movie. That they're just having a good time with this movie. The acting is good. I think the writing is fun because people compare this to John Wick, but I do feel like this has more comedy than John Wick, and I think that actually excels for a story like this, because unlike John Wick where, it's the dog, this one's more about a family. So there's different elements of like who the wife actually is. Are these kids involved with the story? How are they involved? Will they be involved in the future? And like John Wick, you have the hotel. Here you have the barber. So there are a lot of interesting similarities, same with the Russians and everything like that. But, you could fault it for that, for saying that's not as original as it should be and everything like that. But with this one, unlike John Wick, who's kind of like a badass through and through, Bob Odenkirk gets his shit rocked. I think that's a positive, knowing that he's been out of the game for quite some time and he needs to get back into it because he's just feeling it so much. So with that, like I said, action's great, good wide shots, good direction, everything like that. The only negative I would say that when I was watching this scene, I was like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel as gritty as I want it to be. And that is the third action set piece, because we have the bus one is the main one. Then you also have the house. Then you have the money one. And then you have the final battle. The bus one, fantastic. You are in the close combats with everyone getting involved. The house one turns into a gunplay one, which is also a fun one to watch. It is the bank one where I was a little disappointed with it, because that was more of a montage of seeing people fly through the air, hitting the wall, Bob Odenkirk changing his rounds or changing the clip out of the gun and everything like that. It was more of, like I said, a montage of things happening and not actually seeing what is happening, of like, how is he killing these people? You just see people flying, like I said before, and you're just like, ugh, I want more oomph. And then, of course, at the very end, that's when more people get involved with the family and everything like that. And it was a fun time to watch it. But something just felt a little bit off about it. Like, it felt rushed for some reason. And it felt more of like, it's hard to say, like almost like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of action feel to it, with, both of them going back to back and like shooting people in a warehouse. So it had that like feel to it. And I just didn't feel as gritty as I want it to be. Yes, there were some grenade explosions and barbed wire going through people. But it just was like, it was better in the Equalizer at the warehouse scene with the rebar and stuff like that. Here, you see it happening, but you don't really see the after effects. And the after effects, like I said, are just people flying through the air. And I was just like, ugh, I want more gritty, in-your-face kind of stuff. Even though you can enjoy those wide shots, but this one doesn't have it. Like John Wick or like Equalizer, and like I said with other movies like that. What's interesting about this movie, Bob Odenkirk even said he wanted to do an action movie like this because his house was broken into multiple times and he was like, what can I do? I'm frustrated. So there's also that element, knowing that Bob Odenkirk was invested in this movie because stuff happened to him as well. So I enjoyed that as well. But overall, Nobody's a fun time at the theaters. If you like John Wick and action movies like that, you're not going to be disappointed with this one at all. So nobody will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons. It goes at 80%. So see the critics news scores gave this movie. So you have the critics in 80% with 158 of them. The audience score 95% with over 500. Here's critic consensus. Nobody doesn't break any new grounds for the genre, but this virtually violent thriller smashes, shatters, and destroys plenty of other things, all while proving Bob Odenkirk has what it takes to be an action star. I mean, I have to agree. I mean, people are saying, oh, he was in Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, and he's done a lot of comedy stuff, like, directing Brother Salmon and Let's Go to Prison. He can't be an action star. Anyone can if they put their minds to it. So do you agree with the 80, the 80, or the 95? Chase out the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Well, no thanks, Blue Futon-topia, you Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace and love, peace and love. Love all you. And just remember, if you see this guy in the back of the bus or, by himself, don't mess with him because he probably could beat you up. It's really true, actually, in real life. Just leave people alone sometimes.